What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Once again, I'm your host, Tony Reactions. Thank you so much for coming back and tuning in. Today we are exploring challenges, disappointments, and hard lessons many members of the Black diaspora face when they decide to relocate to Africa. For many people across the Black diaspora countries, they represent more than just travel destinations. They symbolize home, identity, freedom, and a chance to reconnect with their ancestral roots. So guys, let's watch this combination of videos together. Then I'll come back with more reactions. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Let's talk about the fact that we get abused over here too. The thing about Ghana is stop crying victim. Stop crying victim, because y'all cheat us out of a lot of stuff. Y'all invited us to come home, which by the thousands we did. We came running to Ghana. People sold their homes, moved out of their apartments, sold everything. Some people packed up containers and moved over here just to get over here and realize this is not our home. Y'all call us foreigners. Ghanaians call us that. We didn't make that word up. We didn't start calling ourselves that. We don't know that that's what y'all call the white people and the Chinese because we're not around them. But we know that that's what y'all call us. I ain't never heard the word before, Toby, till I came to Ghana. Okay. Y'all invite us home. Let's talk about what y'all do to us. Starting from the fucking before we get to the airport, we got to have a visa that we pay for to even enter our home. We pay all this money for passports and visas to get here. We get to the airport, and as soon as you see a fucking blue passport, everybody's coming for us. Can you give me something small at the COVID place? You get to immigration. Can you give me something small? You get to baggage. Can you give me something small? A person grabbed a damn cart and put my bag on it and got mad because I gave him $5 because I only had hundreds, because you come over here with hundreds to get the best, cash in rate. How about he looked at that and said, I don't want that. I said, what you mean you don't want it? I said, I want to know, what did you expect me to give you? He said $10. I said, so you want me to give you over 100 CDs for picking up a bag, putting it in a cart? He don't know this is like my 5th time coming through the airport. I have never seen nowhere in any country or state where people have openly, it says $60 for foreigners, $30 for locals, okay? You go to Cocoon Park, and I don't remember the price. Let's say $200 for foreigners, because that's what y'all call us, $40 for locals. You go to the castle, it's $60 for foreigners, $10 for locals. I ain't never seen that nowhere. I ain't never went nowhere in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada where it said you pay, if you a local, if you're from here, you pay $3 for a Coca-Cola, but if you're a foreigner, you pay $8 for a Coca-Cola. I ain't never seen that nowhere except Ghana. Nobody in the airport has ever asked me for no money for nothing. I have only seen that in Ghana. Now let's talk about the fact that y'all welcomed us home and how this process looks to me. According to y'all, the ones of us that were stolen, so let's talk about the process of coming home. We got stolen from our mother, our birth mother and father. 20 years later, we're probably 26 years old now. Our mother finds us and she said, baby, y'all come home. I miss you. Come back home. Get out them streets where they don't love you at and come home. So we drive, take a taxi, however we get to our mother's address, we get there. But before she let us come to the door, she says, oh, welcome home. But before you come in, can you pay me $300 to enter the door? That's the visa to come home. So, okay, we happy to be home. So we paid $300 to our mother to step foot in her house because we're excited to be home to the motherland, okay? We get in there and now it's dinner time. And she has plates on the table for the kids that grew up in the house. And she has a plate on the table for me and my sister who was stolen years ago. And she says, oh, my daughters, because you didn't grow up here, my children get to eat free that grew up here. But because you were stolen and you're just coming back, I have to charge you $20 for a plate. So me and my sister, we're so happy to be home. We're confused. We pay her $20 for a plate. Okay. That's the cocoon shit. That's y'all giving us different prices for shit. Okay. Now we're at our mother's house and we're enjoying being there. We see something's a little weird, but we enjoy being back home with our mother. We decide we want to stay. And she goes, oh, you want to stay a little longer? You're going to have to pay me $1,000 every year to stay here. That's the residency. Now we're paying her for residency, even though she invited us home after we were stolen from her. Okay. Now we pay the residency, and then we decide, you know what? We want to get on the birth certificate. We kind of like it here. It's a little weird, but we comfortable enough to stay here. And she tells us, oh, in order for you to stay here, I have to put my name on your birth certificate. That's going to be $3,000 each, please. And then I will put your name on the birth certificate and you will become a family member. That's the citizenship. That's the citizenship. So how are we home if we got to pay y'all? Why aren't the visas free? If this is home, why don't you make this visa free for us? If this is home, why do we have to pay to be a resident? If this is home, why isn't our citizenship automatically given to us?
Reason I left Tanzania. Okay, so the number one reason why I left Tanzania is because I was getting scammed numerous times. Was I scammed? So I left Tanzania and I've been back in the US for almost 2 months. And for me, it was the best decision that I could have ever made for my future and for my son's future. I was on Facebook and I saw that someone posted a picture of them holding up 500 T-shillings. It seemed like they were trying to say that's how much you would have to pay. You would only have to pay 500 T-shillings to fill up your car, which is, I think they said, less than 50 cents. The situation for me this time was a visa issue. And I'll go into that in another video. I just feel like it's so much to tell and I need to give the details of that. However, that situation was rectified for me, but at the last minute after I decided that I was leaving to go home. And there is, someone there in Tanzania that I believe would be great for diasporans to, to help them make sure that they get their visas and all the paperwork that they need, and to just, not get scammed, and someone that's trustworthy. As far as I am concerned, I did what was right for me and what was best for me. It didn't matter what anyone had to say to me.
The first thing that I didn't like is the immigration process. When I went to Tanzania, I already imprinted it in my brain that you're allowed to, from the research that I've done, that you're allowed to have 3 months there and then get extensions, which is a 30-day extension. It's supposed to be 2 30-day extensions for free. But once I got to the immigration, they had us wait there for 5 hours after telling us they could give us that time period, and we only got 2 weeks. After waiting 5 hours, we got a 2-week extension. So I had to maneuver myself from there, and it was just not pretty for me. I left the immigration office like literally in tears, because I was just like, it's just this, I pick up on vibrations and energy, and it's just like the immigration people just felt like they don't want me here. For whatever reason, whatever judgment they had of me, I don't think they want us as expats there. And that's just the honest truth, you guys. Like, they were laughing at me while I was crying. Like, it was just not funny. Maybe it was just the immigration officers that I dealt with, but it was just like, oh, okay, yeah. So that was like one of the first negative experiences for me there. But yeah, I thought I could, stay there a little bit longer just to feel it out. Now, let me tell you guys, I never, ever, ever had I had no expectations with coming to Africa. Like I told you guys, I had plans to move to Ghana. They changed their rules. I don't like how their president moves. So I decided to come over to go to Tanzania. The immigration, like, to have to leave every 3 months. I know this before going to Tanzania because it's everywhere, it's listed everywhere. But what I didn't take into was the expense that it would be to travel from country to country. I thought maybe it would be a little bit cheaper, but clearly it wasn't. I just never fit in, and I've been me all my life. This is me, and I'm always changing and growing, but who I am at the core, I can't change. So if I can't vibe with the culture and I feel judged by the culture half the time, it's just not gonna work long term for me. So that's one of the bigger reasons why I left too. Most of the expats were couples or males. So I met a guy, he was there from Europe. He had a business in Europe, but he lived in Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Come to find out, like, he was like bragging about how, he can get certain favors from a girl in the community for little to nothing. And I don't need sexual favors, but he was just bragging. And that's what he kind of like hinted at, but I didn't want to assume. But, like, I think guys sometimes come to exploit the, white and black guys come there to exploit the community if they know like they can get a lot for little to nothing, from whether it's company, sex, whatever, like they know this, so they go there to sometimes exploit. So being that I met some cool expats that were males too. That right there was like a big I don't fit, but I want to connect with like-minded people, and I also want to connect with the African culture and the African people, but because there was that language barrier, I couldn't connect with any of the Tanzanian people, and I'm sure that stopped me from meeting a bunch of good people, but I couldn't connect. So this was like a thing for me that I was just like, dang, like it sucks. This is a bummer. It took a lot of effort coming to Africa, but I was just like, I just don't see myself happy here. I'm not happy. So I didn't know, like in my mind, I'm like, once I didn't feel welcome, I'm like, when can I escape? Because if you don't feel connected with the people, it's just like, what in the world am I doing here? Like, I vibe with a few Tanzanian people, the ones who spoke English, and I didn't vibe with any of the Diasporans, actually, not for long. So, that's just what it is.
There's so many African Americans leaving Africa right now. I think when people migrate to the continent or they leave abroad, as we're seeing in record numbers, more than ever before, I'm not sure if it's new or if social media is giving us these viewpoints, but you come to countries where you find the quality of life so much better, but the cost of living a lot less than what you're used to, and you overextend. You purchase a house or you get an apartment in the most luxurious part of the country. You're dining out every day, multiple times a day. You've got a driver, you're doing all of these things. And while these things can still be relatively affordable, what I see for the most part is people just doing the most, like getting the most luxurious car, the most luxurious home, the most luxurious furnishings, and essentially they can't afford to not do the work that they were doing in the US to now sustain the life that they've created on the continent. And so, when I first arrived to the continent, I wouldn't say made those mistakes. I have lived, had money, lost money, had money, lost it. So I knew how to live pretty frugally. But I do recommend that when you do migrate, that you enjoy that experience for the short term. And that's like 30 days, celebrate yourself. Have fantastic dinners out, stay at a hotel, stay in a fabulous Airbnb. But if this is something that you want to do long term, you need to get yourself on a budget and be financially responsible so that you don't overextend yourself, so that you don't end up having to go back to a country that you so direly want to get out of.
Come back. For generations, descendants of Africa in places like Jamaica, the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean have felt a deep desire to reconnect with their roots. Many grew up hearing stories about Africa, learning about the history, and wondering what life would be like if they returned to their land of their ancestors. When they finally make the move, they often arrive expecting to feel an immediate sense of belonging. Some imagine that locals will instantly embrace them as family. Others expect that the emotional connection to the Africa will automatically erase the feeling of being an outsider. But unfortunately, reality is often more complicated. Many returnees quickly discover that while they may feel Africa spiritually or emotionally, local communities often see them differently. To immigration officers, landlords, and government agencies, they are still foreigners. This realization can be shocking and emotionally painful. On the first challenge many returnees face is the financial burden. Many expect that moving to Africa will simply because they are returning to their ancestors. Instead, they often encounter visa fees, residency permits, work permits, and various administrative costs. Many are surprised to learn that they must regularly renew immigration documents, just like any other foreign resident. Others become frustrated when they discover different pricing systems. In some cases, locals pay one price while foreigners pay significantly more. For some who believes that they are returning home, these experiences can feel like rejection. Many begin asking themselves different questions like, if this is my home, why am I still treated like a foreigner? Why do I have to pay a special fee simply because I was born elsewhere? These questions create more emotional conflict that many people are not prepared for. So, language barrier is another problem because even in English speaking countries, accents, expressions, and communication styles may differ significantly. Simple conversations can lead to misunderstanding. Many returnees also find themselves struggling to understand local customs and social expectations. Actions that seems normal in one culture may be interpreted differently in another. This can create feelings of frustration and isolation. Some people report feeling judged because of the way they speak, dress, or behave. Others feel pressure to prove themselves. Instead of instantly fitting in, they find themselves caught between two worlds, not fully accepted as locals, but no longer feeling connected to the countries that they left. So the reality is that identity is complex. Many members of the diaspora view Africa through the lens of history and ancestry. Local residents often view identity through nationality, language, community, and shared experiences. As a result, some returnees discover that locals do not necessarily see them as fellow countrymen. Instead, they may be viewed as Americans, Jamaicans, Canadians, or foreigners. This can be deeply disappointing. Many people arrive expecting emotional healing only to experience loneliness. Some even begin questioning their decision to relocate. The dream of coming home suddenly feels more complicated than they imagined. Another issue frequently discussed by returnees involves money and relationships. Because many members of the diaspora come from countries like with stronger currencies, local may assume they are wealth. This perception can affect daily interactions. Some returnees report being charged higher prices for goods and services. Others feel that friendship and romantic relationship become centered around financial expectations. Many returnees build meaningful relationship and supportive network. However, the issue is common enough that it is deserves attention. Understanding these dynamics is essential for anyone considering relocation. Despite all these challenges, many people still believe that moving to Africa can be a rewarding experience. The key difference is expectations. Those who arrive expecting perfection often struggle the most. Those who approach the journey with humility, patience, and willingness to learn tend to adapt more successfully. They recognize that building a new life takes time. They understand that acceptance must be earned through relationship and participation in local communities. It is a continent filled with diverse nations, cultures, opportunities, and challenges, just like anywhere else in the world. The truth is that returning to Africa is not simply a homecoming. For many members of the Black diaspora, it becomes a journey of self-discovery. Some find exactly what they were searching for. Others encounter obstacles they never expected. But perhaps the most important lesson is this: Africa is not a destination that automatically solves personal struggles and identity questions. It's a place where new experiences, new challenges, and new opportunities await. The dream of returning is still alive for many people. Let's ask ourselves, should more members of the Black diaspora consider moving to Africa? Or do you think the challenges outweigh the benefits? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification so you never miss our next discussion. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome.